is. Well, we'll see what is going to happen. As already, Tom Kench going to be banned away. Chaos Latin Gaming getting rid of it on the blue side.
I love the fact that Tom Kench and Braum are both banned out, because that just comes down to two melee supports that can just control a lot of the skirmishes. You take them out, really, Tark is still left and alive, so that's the only melee skirmish champion that's still available.
Yeah, of course, Bear really does like his melee supports just in general. Played a lot of Trundle in the final, as well as playing only Alistair Braum so far here at IWCQ. But I like it. The Gnar being banned away. And that is going to be the Braum as well.
I mean, Trundle would be a good one too, so it's a good addition to those melee skirmish supports. Trundle versus Tark could be interesting look.
Yep. Of course, Chaos Latin Gaming able to flex that Trundle quite effectively. Trundle being relatively bright spark in what was a very dark day against the Chiefs yesterday, Chaos Latin Gaming. But Malzahar going to be banned from Seiya. Of course, his Mal's performance yesterday, 4-1 and 13, pretty damn good.
I'm not a fan of it simply because Seiya just has a very large champion pool. Even at very rare times could just go to Diana, and especially since at this point in the time where they are on purple side, 100% they would love to go for a last pick for Seiya's champion. No real reason to ban out Malzahar on blue side.
Yeah, and there are a lot of answers to a lot of the, I guess, first pick mid laners that are up, namely Vladimir and Talia. They're going to go away from it as Ashe is picked up first. TheFoxz, of course, has been the carry for this team, especially recently.
But if you're going towards this first pick Ashe, Lyon, they see your top lane picks, or at least bans, they could just go Aurelia. That's something that they're very, very likely or comfortable in doing so, but the Trundle pick, I guess, is their focus.
Yeah, Trundle going to be locked away already. Can, of course, be for Arce towards the bottom side of the map if they want it. So now Oddie thinking about what he wants. Some grins on the face of the Lyon Gaming right now, as Gragas is going to be locked away, and already pretty powerful front line, and split push potential out of Lyon Gaming.
Yeah, so now that they have that Ashe pick, and they know they're going up against a Gragas, will they look straight back towards that Nidalee pick for juliostito?
Yeah, able to pressure out maybe a slower jungler in the Gragas.
Yeah, that could be a point of focus for them. They have a good shove, or at least they very well should, unless if Lyon look towards a Sivir pick. Ashe usually does control a lot of those bottom lanes. So then the question is, if she goes Ashe, maybe even Karma, depends on the champions. You add a Nidalee to the mix, and you can just invade anytime you want and make Oddie's life a mess.
Well, the Braum is still available here for the Bear. Who wants to grab it as Plugo looking at the Talia. That is the Alistair picked up, so a lot of engage potential right now coming out of the bottom lane. And the Talia, a dangerous pick, feels like, against Seiya, to be honest with you.
That's true, but this is a pick that I really wanted to see on Plugo. He showed a lot of smart plays on this champion in the finals in his own region, so it's something I definitely would have loved to see him focus towards a lot more during this tournament, but finally picks it up for himself.
Well, top lane and jungle now being looked for by Chaos Latin Gaming. We'll see what they do decide to pick up. It's now WhiteLotus thinking about the Twitch. Shoutouts to Seiya from the 1v1 tournament. Looking pretty damn good on the little rat in his own right.
Yeah. I've had an experience with Seiya randomly queuing up when I was in North America in an ARAM game, and he was playing Lucian.
Oh, God.
Decided to go AP Lucian. I got demolished by his AP Lucian. I'm going to be honest. It was not good.
Just get ardently blazed on, I think is what that phrase is. And he's going to lock away Syndra. That is going to be his chosen answer to the Talia this time around. Of course, a lot of long-range engage with that Scatter the Weak and the Dark Sphere. So I like it. And this would be different.
I like this a lot because if you get the Trundle and you know you're going up against that Alistair pick, that is an incredibly strong flex pick for them. So they end up going for that mid lane pick. They know they're going up against Talia, so they end up, they pick out that Syndra. Great matchup. Sure, he gets shoved in a little bit, but then he has so much pressure level 5 onwards, especially with Gragas early gank pressure. So Talia has to always feel a little bit afraid at the very least. So now we just don't know what Lyon's support / top lane pick is going to be. So that's a lot of pressure on KLG as they have to make a decision of who their top laner is.
Well, Element actually thinking about the cannon again. Did play it against Dark Passage. Went 0 and 3. Wasn't exactly the best game.
Ooh, this is not a good idea.
Oh, yeah?
He's making this decision, probably assuming that's a top lane Trundle, for him to just go top lane cannon. That is fairly risky. You can probably just end up going, you can probably just go an Aurelia even. Or
and Jirall's Aurelia is a terrifying prospect as well. This guy has really gone off.
Aurelia, Renekton. There's a lot of bruisers top lane that can just jump on top of you if you're a cannon. So making this pick, knowing that they're flexing the Trundle in a good matchup, if you're Trundle versus Alistar bottom lane is fantastic. Lyon should just put this Trundle support. Yeah, like what is this? Like what's happening? Why did they blind pick the cannon?
Well, maybe Element was confident in the Cannon Aurelia matchup?
He's starting to realize what decision he just made. He's like, wait a minute, that Trundle. Oh yeah, that could be a Trundle support. That's a flexible champion. Maybe he's actually comfortable with this matchup. Aurelia, I mean, Kennen does have range on this champion. But with that being said, I guess he's just going to look to play safe in the lane after a certain point, not shove out. He can't afford to. Aurelia is just going to always have the option, especially at level 6, to jump on the minions and jump on top of him and get an extra trade going for him. So it makes Gragas's job a lot easier on who to focus down.
Yeah, it does look like Element will have a bit of a target painted on his back because very different focus from these two top laners. Of course, it's AoE lockdown and damage from the cannon in these team fights late game, whereas Aurelia can be utilized as a frontline source in a team fight or, of course, just split pushing his way to victory.
Yeah.
And we saw it very effectively used by Dark Passage in our first game of the day.
I just loved how the matchup that we just saw on the screen right there, WhiteLotus versus TheFoxz. First of all, that was the first time I've seen the matchup be like an actual 80 carry versus 80 carry, just an actual reflection of two roles against each other. Second of all, it's WhiteLotus against his former team.
Yeah.
So, and he's showing he has an incredible showing in this tournament, doing super well, obviously. So that's a kind of, salt in the wounds.
It is a little bit. Of course, TheFoxz with big shoes to fill as well as WhiteLotus has been playing fantastically. Was, of course, a force for Chaos Latin Gaming at the same time last time that we saw the team. But we are under Summoner's Rift here for game number 2. Latin America North versus Latin America South. And it's now redemption of the South on the line and trying to keep their playoff dreams alive here. Already down 0-3 and do not want the opportunity of going anything below 4 victories because does show that there is quite a possibility that you won't be able to make it out of this group stage.
Yeah.
Without some pretty handy tiebreakers or something like that going your way.
Yeah, you'd have to win the rest of your games, find yourself in a fantastic tie-breaking opportunity.
Yep.
And that's just the best scenario, best case scenario. So this just needs to be a win for them.
Well, we'll see whether they can find it. It's TheFoxz standing sentinel here in this bottom lane tri-brush.
Worst thing for this Kennen is obviously he can't also swap from this matchup. So he has to take the brunt of it. At the very least, he has a Talia in his back pocket, but Talia now is locked down by the specific matchup. So question is how focus is going to be towards jungle matchups and how Oddie is actually going to be, if he's going to be in the right place in the right time this time around.
Yeah, we are going to have a slight pause to start things off here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see whether anything is going to is a problem.
Yeah.
But of course, Talia able to get down a heck of a lot of damage onto the Syndra early on. Shows that Seiya's just like, well, maybe we had an issue with too much damage being done to me. But if you take the entire volley of damage to the face and a Thunderlord's proc, it's probably about right.
Yeah, maybe. I think the first point that they decided to go for this pause was, they definitely thought, if we can get a remake, that would be fantastic.
I'm sorry, that Trundle was supposed to be top lane. I believe something's gone wrong here.
I messaged one of you guys. No one picked up. We wanted to tell you that was not the pick that we wanted to go for. No, that just didn't work out for them. So apparently, referee just rejected their request.
Well, certainly understandable as well because, of course, Lyon Gaming haven't done anything wrong. Flex picks are a pretty big deal.
It's against the rules to flex pick. It is. If Jirall is hovering, if he himself is on that champion of Trundle, better keep that champion.
Yep. Well, does mean I believe Seiya would have had to have been playing. Oh no, he locked in the Syndra, so that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Element should be playing top lane Ashe.
It's doable.
Well, look at this vote. 78% in favor of Lyon Gaming. Understandably, pretty topsy-turvy matchup, but history would tell us a different story. It's WhiteLotus going aggressive. Good volley across there from TheFoxz just to make sure that he can try and continue poking this bottom lane.
It's going to be a battle of mentality here because Kaos Latin Gaming right now are the underdogs. 100%.
Yes.
Lyon will be coming into this one.
I could answer that question.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Raz.
But Lyon Gaming are definitely going to keep. This is beautiful. See, they already put down the ward. They are constantly moving. But of course, Kaos Latin Gaming at the very least, they recognize that, but it doesn't matter. They know that Rek'Sai is going to be top side of the map, and now Oddie will be aware.
Well, like ships in the night, they're going to pass by. I'm not sure whether they saw each other as Equilibrium Strike used by Jirall. Level 3 gained by Element as the Blade Surge comes in. Good stun as Oddie's now looking for it. Can he get the flash body slam? No, just gets the flash out of Element. Not wanting to risk it as Juliostito now makes his way towards the top side. Seiya and Plugo trading here in the mid lane. Flash comes out of Oddie as the Prey Seeker finds him as well. Already, lots of summoner spells burnt.
Yeah, but this is disastrous for Element. He will not be able to shove this lane in. Cannot do it. Maybe off of millions of Qs on that individual minion.
Man,
but he's in a position.
It's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of time, and he's going to be zoned away from the wave, and he doesn't have flash. So Jirall right now, balls in his court, to be able to just take the rest of this matchup going for him.
Yeah, well, nicely done. You saw a good trade there towards the bottom side as well as WhiteLotus going aggressive onto the Fox and Bear. Arce keeping himself well and truly healthy. The Trundle working out very nicely. This guy just seems like he can do it all. It's not often you see a sweet highlight-worthy play on a Braum.
Definitely not often.
No. Pillar goes down. Looking for some damage onto Bear, but not going to go too aggressive. Lyon Gaming's bottom lane are pushing up very, very quickly. A lot of action here in the mid lane early, since has calmed down just a tad. Oddie walks over a ward to this Raptor camp.
Good early wards coming out of Kaos Latin Gaming. So it's not only Lyon that are placing these proper wards. They do know where Oddie is.
Oh, not sure whether Oddie actually was able to pick that one up as he gets shoved back in. Plugo now looking to try and answer here as Seiya back in base. It's going to be a problem. Plugo not wanting to go overly aggressive.
He should have. Really should have.
Yeah, would have thought that he'd be able to lock that one down.
Yeah, so at the very least, you'd have to expect the communication to be that Arce was not in his lane. He did have to roam outwards. But if you get the kill, or at least commit to it, so you would have perhaps just a bit of HP left, he wouldn't be able to even go back to his own jungle and clear. He would have to immediately back to base. So it's a small bit. But it's a safe thing for Plugo to decide to not push further.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll say I did manage to get back to base. Got himself a part of his Morellonomicon.
Element needs to get out of this lane. He's right now with that TP coming out of Jirall. He got his Sheen immediately. Any trade is going to be disastrous for Element. He needs gold, or at least he needs an item to respond to it.
We'll see what he's actually going to build first here with it. Do you go straight into a Zhonya's Hourglass, something like that here against an Aurelia, or do you try and go for damage, like a dash cannon first up, get that flexibility?
Dash cannon would be fantastic. So he's going to go for components of it, very likely. If he does so, the matchup's just going to get worse. So they do need to get him. He needs to get himself to a position on level 6. Ask his bottom lane to at least place a ward for him, so he can get out of this lane entirely. So yeah, I would love to see a dash cannon from him.
We'll see whether the Proto Belt is going to be picked up, as now Seiya pushing up this mid lane, able to get himself a CS lead for the first time, as Plugo did go back to base. Extra Doran's ring and a Negatron cloak.
And
ooh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Nice ward being placed from Jirall in that blue side area, so then they know when Rek'Sai will be on that end to possibly take that Gromp. It's the only camp available in this side of the jungle.
Yeah. Bottom lane is going to go back to base. We've got a BF sword pick up here for the Fox. Grabs himself some boots at the same time, but Lyon Gaming deciding to wait. Able to get the shove in. Element teleports back top as the Fox is going to walk towards the bottom. Pillar comes in. Bear just locked against the wall. That's very sad. He's trying to hold this wave as quickly as possible. As much as possible.
Should be able to hold this once, yes.
Got it. Perfect.
There we go.
No worries. Serrated Dirt completed for WhiteLotus, though. Got himself 2 long swords.
So once again, Lyon Gaming having stronger lanes. The Trundle and Lucian should be able to make Fox's life pretty much hell. Fox needs to find effectiveness on rotating, just rotating either mid lane or allowing elements to find a TP play in that bottom lane. But they don't have proper ward set up in the bot lane right now. If they can get one before WhiteLotus and Arce can get a shove, then that would be great for them.
Well, there's the flash body slam. Element knocked underneath the turret. Throws down the Vengeful Maelstrom. Nice double stun comes in as Jirall waiting for another Blade Surge. He has flash, but decides not to use it. And Element able to get out with his life and his flash.
Yeah, perfect stuns and no incoming wave. So the ult coming out of Jirall could not chip anything down for him to look for that chase. So really well done from Element to be able to survive that encounter. He does have a giant belt, so he's likely going for Rylai's Crystal Scepter first.
Yeah, and I actually quite like it. Just going for the defensive itemization. Made sure that he couldn't get popped. Jirall now as well. He's Blade Surged in. Another Mark of the Storm will be needed here for Element to get that stun. Good Equilibrium Strike, but the knock-up comes in. Element looking for the auto attack. Doesn't find it as Jirall gets himself out, but has to use the flash.
Yeah, he holds on to it because he recognizes that Juliostito also has his flash as well. So once he was able to get the first proc of the knock-up from Rek'Sai, knew that the second one's obviously not going to be up for a little while. So he just flashes away.
Well, he's going to be all right for the moment. We'll see whether a return visit is there from Juliostito. But this lane going much better for Element than we were expecting, especially given Oddie's involvement. As Arce now looking for Fox, throws down the arrows. WhiteLotus has got exhausted. Fox as well, struggling to get the damage across. Arce is just so tanky, and that's a level advantage for Bear as well. Unbreakable Will just being able to be picked up.
It's a dive opportunity out here with a TP coming up fairly soon on Jirall. So, of course, yeah, Chaos Land Gaming, they have to back away and respect the pressure.
Yeah, get out of there immediately as Barrel secures the Krug camp. Now Lyon Gaming looking to try and take this turret down to about half health before these minions are destroyed. Good play. Defensive play out of KMV, though, is strong. Able to keep themselves in it. And the CS, very, very close in almost every single lane.
Yeah. Able to heal back up the Fox as well. Not only are you getting the heal coming out of the Alistar and Bear, but on top of that, the Targon stacks coming through. So he may have gotten a lot of damage, or at least put on him, but able to heal right back up.
Yeah, and where are these teams like looking to be strong as well? I mean, Lyon Gaming waiting for like a mid-game power spike out of Lucian and Syndra, and KMV looking to scale?
They have a lot of opportunities on KLG's team. They can look to make picks. If Plugo has pressure in his lane, he can look to ulti bot side. They have a lot of pick potential with the Fox as well. Alistar and Ashe, great work from both of them. On top of that, they can also just rotate the Fox for making just Ashe picks mid-time.
Face off.
Just looking at each other. I mean, they don't even know that they're looking at each other.
Not looking at each other, but they are at the same time.
You can just imagine that they are.
A hectic stare down. As there's a headbutt, Pulverized Bear looking for a good pillar to try and stop the Fox from getting the damage off onto WhiteLotus, who just sidesteps the arrow. That could have been death.
This is the worst thing about this lane is that the Bear cannot actually look to that hard engage because Trundle will just lock you up. And the moment, right now it's not too impactful, but the point once Lucian does get to his more of his items, he will start doing a lot more damage in these trades and these all-in trades, and it's not going to be working out well for Bear. Bear's going to have to be forced to utilize his ulti.
Oh my god! How did he That was ridiculous. The Weaver's Wall is going to come in. Not going to actually block off the lane as Arce avoids the seismic shove. This Lyon Gaming bottom lane, honestly, is so good. As Element in trouble one more time. The barrel, yet again, doesn't find the kill as Element gets surged on. Bladily on the top side after a bit. Going down low, but is once again safe. This time has to use his flash, and Chaos Latin Gamers utilize the jungler being top to take down this first Ocean Drake.
WhiteLotus. WhiteLotus.
The guy's so good.
Argentinian wonder kid. This
Yeah.
guy is insane. Oh my god. I just if the first replay of this game is gonna be that, it better be that.
It better be that.
Yeah.
Because how do you relentlessly pursue away from an ability that's basically instant?
I mean, he had to have expected it just based off of the
I guess that's the
positioning there.
difference between Pulverize Flash and Flash Pulverize, because I believe it must have been Flash Pulverize, so that there was a little bit of an animation before it went off.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think it was a pulverize. We're gonna have to see it, obviously.
Yeah,
but
we will.
Who knows? So
Questions have to be answered. Or maybe it just was never going to hit in the first place, which would be really depressing, because it looked really, really cool. I don't know. I feel like I'm bringing down the mood, because it was damn awesome.
yeah, I'm supposed to be doing the analysis.
Exactly.
I'm
I
just
apologize, man.
I'm too much in awe.
Yeah, exactly.
With that being said, right now lanes are working out as well as they could for Chaos Latin Gaming. They could just get worse. Right now, Lucian did end up finishing up his first item in that Yomu's Ghostblade. So it's going to be a lot harder for that Ashe. Sure, she does have BF Sword, and on top of that, the Zeal. Oh, here we go.
One more time. There's the Flash Equilibrium Strike. This time as Jirall is able to grab First Blood and take down the cannon. It took a few tries, but they got there in the end, Raz.
Yeah, I mean, Element played it out as well as he could. He utilizing his range advantage, had a 20 CS lead.
Oh, Arrow is going to find Arce here as Bear gets the Pulverize, but doesn't get it onto WhiteLotus, who's getting a lot of damage across. Arce, with the Subjugate, did survive for a long time. However, they're able to get the kill.
Talia's looking for this now. WhiteLotus needs to walk away from this tower.
Is going to do so and should be first structure gold going over to KMV at the same time. So answering that early lead that Lyon were able to get out to with that First Blood, and Fox is actually going to get all of this gold.
There we go.
650, that is a big deal. The Seiya can't even find the stun here. Plugo walks past. They're just dodging each other right now. Good slow comes in, as you can see Gragas. The ultimate comes out. Plugo takes a lot from the Unleashed Power. And now juliostito. Oh, lots of respect there from Seiya. There's the flash. Oh, juliostito delivered to the Dark Sphere. That was stunning. The 1-2 punch from the mid and jungle.
That's the most action you're going to see at a Rek'Sai versus Gragas right there. But that was really well done from Oddie. Recognized that, well, juliostito still has his flash, but did not respect it in that. Did not respect Oddie's flash body slam.
I liked Seiya respecting the flash knock-up, though. That was good.
Yeah, really well done.
Making sure as soon as that tunnel goes down, it's like, well, he can flash on Burrow me. I'm gonna have to respect it. As WhiteLotus going to answer the tower take on the bottom side of the map instantly. Arce holding that lane for him as well. As it's actually Plugo sent to defend. We'll see where these players go now that the lanes have opened up. And it looks like the Fox and Bear just hanging out here in the mid lane.
Yeah, they need to start. They need to send Lucian.
It's really sad that
go
I
back.
just realized that it's a Bear and a Fox. They just got really cool names.
That's true.
As Arrow is going to find Arce yet again. It's a 2-for-1 special on these Trundles right now. As that knockback was hilarious. Not going to do anything, though, and they lose the Trundle yet again.
Yeah, this could mean mid-tower for them. They're going to look to try and stack up on it. WhiteLotus is in base, walking towards this tower.
Yeah, fair bit of wave clear, though. You can see that Dark Sphere clears it out easily for Seiya. Level 11 now as well, so, of course, has fully maxed out that Q.
Yeah, really good lane assignments coming out of Chaos Latin Game is to send Talia to the spot lane. It's not going to be that impactful because, of course, she does want to be in mid side to be able to rotate between top and to bot. But she doesn't have ulti up.
The Fox. WhiteLotus throws down the culling. Look at that damage! I don't even know what it was from Seiya that locked down that kill. But I think it may have been a heck of a lot of orbs, and WhiteLotus's culling didn't actually do too much of anything, as Bear has to throw down his ultimate. Arce is going to make his way in. Gets the pillar in a good spot, as Seiya is now looking to try and delete someone else. Will he be able to get the stun is the question, as Unleashed Power... Sorry. The Scat of the Week. Didn't find him.
Really great focus, and here we go. Once again.
In goes Jirall. Yeah, Oddie once again pays a visit. Jirall just ignoring Slicing Maelstrom.
So, but that's something that they can constantly look to do now. Lyon Gaming, they have themselves great lanes. So once again, they're just going to keep bullying the cannon, and why not?
Yeah. And Seiya just picks up a blue buff, plays with it for a bit, and throws it down. It's always a very depressing thing when you're a jungler playing against a Syndra. And your buffs just disappear.
You know what I miss?
What do you miss?
Remember Syndra came back into the meta, or at least I think it was her first time in the meta. Like first time she actually showed up. And the most cheeky thing I've seen was CLG coming up, and their level 1 invade was walk towards blue buff, take blue buff away from whatever jungler that was starting blue buff, and just steal it and then walk away. And I was like, it's basically Blitzcrank pull.
Mm-hmm. Very depressing, as Arrow is going to find Seiya. There's everyone piling on top. And Arce also possibly caught out. Doesn't have to use the ultimate, but that is the pick potential of this composition from KLG.
Yeah, and they only have a few minions, so they won't be able to take the turret down on this wave alone. Next wave will take some time. Lucian's going to be able to get there at the same time, so not a lot going to be taken from that for KLG unless they're looking to commit to it.
Well, WhiteLotus throws down the culling. Bear just tanks it up. Probably doesn't want to. Almost with his black cleaver completed, as Oddie now finds the body slam. Ultimate is, of course, there, but they can't defend the turret. KLG even things out on that score. Grab themselves a dragon at the same time. Like, this is a team that is so close to being in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing much better against Lyon Gaming, so they must have learned quite a bit from their previous games.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they know Lyon very well. Very well. So the prep time for this one must have been much shorter.
Most certainly. So now WhiteLotus going to help take this one down. Should spell his Black Cleaver very soon. Yeah. Important to note the 2-item power spike of the Lucian being very, very strong.
So what Lyon Gaming just need to do right now, since they have a proper top lane matchup that Oddie's always going to be looking to rotate around. And then Lucian right now, all Lucian wants to do is force the TheFoxz into that side lane. All at any point, at any opportunity. And so he's going to be constantly looking to shove up, getting Ashe up to that position, and just looking to duel her.
Well, Bear now hanging out up top. Good ward actually put down behind this outer turret. Is Arrow going to soar by? Looking beautiful.
A lot of projectiles coming in. Lyon have to at least recognize that this play is a possibility, so Arce is going to be in there.
Yeah. Going to get up. They're going to clear this one out quite easily. Talia was waiting in the wings.
TheFoxz has to watch out.
Yeah, WhiteLotus now gets that wave, crashes it towards the inner turret. Now moves back immediately. I'll say aggressive position right now, but Weaver's Wall is available. Plugo can be there at a moment's notice. Seiya was moving around, but not quite as maneuverable. Despite everything, Lyon still, that lead just seems to be organically growing in favor of them unless a proactive play is made by KMV.
Well, right now, the game is much easier for Lyon to execute on. KMV has to find ways to hide elements in this matchup, while at the same time trying to find ways to hide the TheFoxz in his bot lane matchup. They're trying to hide so many matchups that it's impossible to do so unless they find an incredibly creative fight to work off of. TheFoxz needs to start hitting his ultis. Elements needs to start finding some certain TP plays, which really means that juliostito and the rest of his team have to start looking for proper invades when it comes through to get down flank wards whenever possible. It just hasn't been happening this game, so right now Elements has just been stuck in this lane, not able to achieve much.
Well, has achieved at least a CS advantage. 162 to 157. Spectre's Cowl now completed by Jirall, so not heading towards a Ghost Blade this time. It's going to be the the Spirit Visage, unless he wants a Banshee's Veil, which would be odd, because Spirit Visage is so damn good on Aurelia. WhiteLotus and Arce now move towards the top side, see whether they can get some pressure on the outer turret. Mid-outers, of course, traded for both sides. It's just the top lane remaining for outer turrets. KLG actually wanting to try and make a play for this. juliostito moving around. Jirall, teleport at the ready. Has moved down to the bottom lane. Chaos Latin Gaming will have a small amount of time to play with before that inner turret is under threat. Good stun onto juliostito, though, as there's the flash body slam. Stops him from being able to tunnel out, but the flash will get him into the Baron pit.
Now they're in such a lose-lose situation because Chaos Latin Gaming, that was smart from them. They really did want to look for this top lane play. That was their only option simply because they didn't have much time to work with. Jirall was shoving out in that bot lane. And they didn't want to find elements once again in this matchup. So they were trying to set up for it. juliostito gets caught in that jungle. Doesn't die though, so at the very least he can be thankful for that.
Well, Plugo now going to grab himself his blue buff, does so quite easily, the help of juliostito. But all of that pressure, all of those movements just for naught after the Rek'Sai takes so much damage. Lyon back in control. No lead to speak of. 300 gold is in it right now.
Well, Lyon's just trying to find passive leads from individual matchups, as they have been throughout the tournament, to be honest. So they're fine just keeping it as it is. Now the lead isn't very much in terms of gold, but the possibility is only growing larger simply because Aurelia is going to be starting to build defensively. She already did with that cow. And it's only going to get worse from there. What is Element going to do? He's not going to be building for the matchup. He's going to be building for a team fight in the future, which just means much more AP. The dash cannon, obviously, was with the Rylai's, and he's going to be perhaps going towards that Zhonya's. And that's not going to be very impactful up against once Jiraiya has quite a lot for himself.
Yeah.
So the longer this game goes, he's going to be much more afraid of his individual matchup. And WhiteLotus is already doing a lot of damage for himself. On top of that, he has QSS, so he's not even going to be afraid of Ashe stunning him for any 1v1 matchup.
And right now, just shoving out with Reckless Abandon. It's another wave towards this outer turret as Arce moving down the bottom of the lane. Just getting some vision in that river. Oddie standing on a pink ward right at the moment as juliostito. Looks like the Baron focus is here for both of these teams, wanting to get the vision, wanting to get control. And so far, feels like a stalemate.
Yeah, it is. It is centered around this one top lane tower that KLG wants to set up for. Chaos Latin Gaming want this one tower. And it's not so much just the tower itself. They want a flank on this tower. If they can possibly get a TP going for Kennen around here to set up for something. If they can't get it, then they'll just get the tower and be happy about it. Extending the lane is going to be good for the Foxes on Ashe.
Well, tower is taking some damage. But with 3 members, Lyon Gaming are able to get up there, defend it. No moves going to be made. Proto Belt completed now for Element, as well as those Sorcerer Shoes. So he's looking strong. We have a Rylai's and an Abyssal done for Plugo. So only 10% CDR at the moment. Not opting in to something like the Morellonomicon, but not up against a Vladimir. Not as necessary this time around, I guess.
Yeah, he does want to stay alive against Seiya. As long as he can survive the burst, he's going to be happy about that.
And juliostito decided to pick up his full Titanic Hydra as his second option. Often we see Tiamats hanging around for a little bit longer than that before being completed, but
yeah,
I like
usually perhaps maybe a Spirit Visage and then head into that, finishing up the Tiamat. Once you get the resistances, the HP of the Titanic Hydra is fairly strong. But of course he's going to go for the immediate combat power of it.
Well, Oddie.
Especially since he has red buff currently. Anyone that tries to fight him, you can take him.
Well, we'll see whether that's going to be put to the test, because at the moment, no one really wants to. Plugo waiting around, understands that Oddie did head bottom side. He's now waiting around. You can see only 2 members up here towards the top, as Plugo now hanging out, does have the weave as well, but doesn't use it. Might need to defend here. Seiya is just cleaning tunnels. Shoving up towards this inner turret. Plugo does make it in. Now there's a possible flash body time. There it is. Right into all the CC. Unleashed power is going to get thrown out, but it's not quite enough damage. The last Dark Sphere after the flash. And Seiya gets it. Oddie even able to use his Locket of the Iron Solari to shield up Seiya from the stray turret shot.
WhiteLotus found himself in an interesting position, but of course he's just going to walk right out of there. And so, once again, really tense situation because both teams know how linear it can be of just defend and attack in terms of how that top lane matchup is going to go. They did right now. KLG's in a bit of a pickle. How they're trying to set it up, and so Talia had to take the long way around since she was rotating towards that top lane to defend mid tower. And once she looks to defend, Oddie was just there, right place, right time.
Just waiting. Yeah.
Just knocks right back towards that Syndra. So once again, he has been propping up certain matchups.
Oh, WhiteLotus in a whole host of trouble. He's going to get taken down as the exhaust was so good. TheFoxz now just gets a celebratory shield from, that was an odd one, as the exhaust goes down on a bear, and Arce is going to survive for the moment.
Yeah, he did not want the second rotation on Headbutt Pulverize to allow Ash to take his life as well. So smart exhaust at the end of the day probably would have helped if earlier on in that skirmish we put it on TheFoxz, but
yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, the face of the mountain, an odd move. Doesn't actually have too much movement speed, but inner turret now under fire as well. The outer did fall down as Bear's going to get stunned. TheFoxz caught by Oddie and destroyed by Seiya. Bear now has the ultimate, but is he unbreakable enough with his will? No, he's certainly not. As juliostito now trying to run away from Jirall. The slow comes in, but good tunnel avoids most of the duration of that CC, and Aurelia knocked to the right side. We'll see whether it is going to be enough. Dashtown gets Element out as he'd only just started to try and come in, which is an odd decision to make. Arce now catching up to him. Plugo at least able to get the work done. That was fantastic. The body slam for the double stun. There's the unleash. And double kill comes out for Jirall in the end. It's all about Arce. This whole team, I didn't see it before, but this support is so, so good in the clutch moments.
I mean, the chase potential of Trundle has always been relevant, but Arce, of course, he's in that position. They found a random cannon late to the fight overall.
That's 2 ultimates, juliostito. You do not want to be eating that many. And the Baron is going to get taken down. The Rek'Sai chased away by an angry Lucian. And Lyon Gaming just turn it all around immediately here at 28 minutes in. Quite annoyed about being even with a team. They saw to it.
But once again, KMV was in a proper position, numbers game, working out for them. But because they did get that one pick for themselves, but it just did not work out. Of course, they want a great body slam from Oddie. Removes TheFoxz from the fight.
And now all of a sudden, Jirall is 5-0-0. So what was already a, difficult matchup for the Cannon is virtually impossible. He goes back, grabs himself a Caulfields as well as a Warden's Mail, finishes his Spirit Visage. It's a pretty good news story for the Aurelia.
And the worst thing about that, for him to pick up that Spirit Visage, not only does he have the waves to help him because he has Baron, but Spirit Visage giving him the extra CDR on top of the resistance as well is a double whammy.
He's got 40% now. It's already completed.
Yeah, double whammy right there. He has the CDR. He can take any skirmish he wants. So if it wasn't bad before, and it was bad, it's much worse.
Oh, jeepers. Well, WhiteLotus turns up to the mid lane. That inner turret is going to take a lot. Jirall's hanging out towards the top as now TheFoxz. See whether he's looking for an arrow. The QSS is going to be there for WhiteLotus. No, Ardent Blaze doesn't hit turrets. It was a cute attempt.
He was setting up for that double shot.
Yep. No, I know. I was just poking fun. Now red buff going to be stolen away here as well. WhiteLotus with his 3 items. Went for the rapid fire cannon item number 3. After his QSS, which I don't include in the amount of items that he has because it's just hanging out, being a defensive one.
That's true.
If you guys were calling me out, Now has himself the BF sword. So a little bit of awkward as far as where the items are going in his inventory. But WhiteLotus should still be fine. Looks like it might be an Infinity Edge is the next one. We'll need about 2,300 gold to go back and purchase it.
So my question is, how long will this game go on? Will he be able to finish that Infinity Edge? Because right now, of course, WhiteLotus is doing quite well for himself. Sure, he's
maybe just going for the final push, just wants as much AD as possible.
Yeah, sure, he's 0-1-1, but he's instills so much fear in the TheFoxz and the individual matchups that it's just hasn't been going too well. Ash has simply not had the opportunity to roam out mid to make the picks that she's wanted. TheFoxz, even though he's playing Ash, almost feels like he doesn't have an ultimate ability because he just hasn't had the option of using it.
WhiteLotus just throws down the culling. Look at these minions doing so much work, as well as WhiteLotus. Inner turret falls immediately. Jirall still putting pressure on the top side. You can see the rest of Lyon Gaming hanging out in the enemy jungle, keeping themselves offside. Good ward there from KMV. Spots out exactly what Lyon Gaming are doing. Fox able to take down that siege cannon. And now only base turrets remain, as well as that inner turret on the top side of the map that Element was able to defend. Backs coming in. You got Zerka's Greaves done for WhiteLotus. Whoa, okay, that was a full Randuin's Omen completed by Jirall on his most recent back.
Yeah. So we've got double Randuin's Omens
From
right now.
Warden's Mail, of course, yeah.
So 2 Randuin's Omens on the side of Oddie and Jirall. The crits coming out of Ash, not going to be doing as much damage. So if she wasn't relevant before, especially since she did have to itemize towards the burst coming out of Gragas and Syndra with that MR item.
Yeah, Seiya as well. Now, able to actually take down... Come on, man. Can you actually just kill... There it is. There it is.
He's got it. I
It
trust.
was almost 2 in a row.
I mean,
almost 2 in a row.
The blue buff has not been very patient with him.
Juliostito probably doesn't want to take that battle. It's Element now in the mid lane, clearing out minions. Of course, Cannon much better at that now. Can use his ultimate to do so, but...
Big
Still.
wave coming in the top side of the map. So yeah, it's great. It's a great decision from Lyon to then decide to be shoving out in the bottom lane. Element's going to be going up to 10 to that. Well, I guess he wanted to take that wolf camp. But he didn't have that opportunity.
Taking wolf camps is important. Plugo going to answer the shove from the Lucian, and it is going to be Dragon taken down here by Lyon. Want to get to that Elder Drake, and that is the first Infernal Drake of the game. A lot of oceans. The first one that is definitely a good one for this late game. It's going to go to Lyon. Baron going to be up relatively soon. I believe about 3 or so minutes before we are going to see the big purple worm once again on the map. But of course means that that buff no longer resides on the Lyon Gaming players. It's going to be more difficult to shove this one out.
Even better for Lyon is to use that massive wave right now. Crash into that turret. Looks like that's going to be the focus. 1 minute 45 until Baron. So if that's not it, then they can just be peeling back, put down their pinks.
Oh, Element's in trouble. Throws down the Maelstrom. Can he actually do it? No, he can't. As the Blade Surge is able to lock it down, and no turret can actually get the work done as Blade Surge able to get Jirall to safety as Juliostito gets stunned by the Scat of the Week. But Plugo unable to catch up to Jirall. And he just goes back to farming and getting massive once again.
Yeah, so this is... Ooh, here we go.
Whoa, there's a massive flash body slam. The Fox caught under the turret. The ultimate from Seiya was probably not even necessary, but that's the pick they were looking for. No cannon available either. Could this spell the breaking of the base for Lyon Gaming?
But here's the thing. Chaos Latin Gaming, they actually played this game fairly well. They were even through and through, even though Lyon were just completely bullying that top side of the map. So, honestly, they played well. They made gains from their last couple of days of the game.
Yes, I would definitely agree with you.
The only question just came down to that one simple point of they just focused so much towards this cannon pick. There was no reason to even look to blind pick this cannon. It really just did not.
Well, you have to remember the fact that we'd already called out their draft from minute number 1. The fact that they were able to keep things even this entire time until that one pick underneath the turret, that one great play from Oddie, as well as the solo kill from Jirall really turning it on its head. Up until that point, felt like it was anyone's game. And after what could be considered a disaster draft.
Yeah.
That's good news.
It is. So at the very least, it feels like if Chaos Latin Gaming don't come away with this with a win, which will just make the standings look a little more bleaker for them, then...
How is WhiteLotus on 400 CS at 36 minutes? It's a hell of a lot of CS at 36 minutes.
He's farming anything and everything. But yeah, this could be a great thing for... a great experience for Chaos Latin Gaming. It doesn't feel great, obviously. to come back home with a loss if it turns out like that. But
well, 0-4 as well, which is the real disaster. As WhiteLotus gets into his tunnel as Element finds an engage. Arce goes down low, but WhiteLotus able to lock down the cannon. Bear trying to run away as Jirall gets into the back line. There's the Blade Surge. Once again, the Explosive Cask destroys the Ashes. Plugo's stunned. Seiya locks down 2 on the back end, and that is the swiftest ace I have ever seen in Lyon Gaming, looking to follow some creeps towards the Nexus and finish this one off.
Yeah, that has to be game. They're looking for it now. That is one way to show some strength right there. Lyon Gaming coming off as the favorites for the first time in this tournament, up against the Chaos Latin Gaming.
Yeah.
Must feel good for WhiteLotus.
And I honestly feel like they're gonna almost look like favorites up against anyone. Now able to take down INTZ, Dark Passage, and now Chaos Latin Gaming. The first team here in IWCQ with a 3-0-0 scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. Looking incredibly strong.
And actually the only team that's going to have a 3-0-0 scoreline, I believe.
That's true. And one more game later on today up against Rampage, I believe.
No, up against the Saigon Jokers.
Saigon, yes.
Is our final matchup. So
they can't sleep on Saigon. I mean, they had a little bit of difficulty against this Chaos Latin Gaming early on in this game. So if you're going up against Saigon Jokers, a team that will skirmish you at every single point, that they could have honestly, had tides been a little bit different, it could have been 2-0 up until this point. Saigon, a little bit unlucky with their skirmishes, but if you take those 50-50 fights a lot of the time, you know, you're not going to be coming back with your money half the other time. So
yeah, and we also know Southeast Asia as being a region that is very, very mechanical.